So before jumping to the topic or subject matter, I would like to have your attention towards all these headlines. 13-year-old girl died in Tamil Nadu just because her teacher scolded her. Are you aware about all these news? So this was one of the incidences that happened in Tamil Nadu. So the girl had some stains due to the menstrual flow, and she was scolded by her teacher, due to which she committed suicide. So that happened in Tamil Nadu. And the next news you can see that pregnant mom nearly lost baby, and due to allergy that happened due to having a pill, period pain related kill. She was not aware about the allergic issues that can lead to. And the third news is about a girl who died because there is a menstrual related myth that a girl has to go and stay somewhere else apart from the home during the period, menstruation phase. So all of us must have heard about the cyclone Gaja, right? It did hit the southern Indian belt terribly, and that girl was sleeping outside of her home, and during that time she got killed. Next, here we have certain figures and data which says which say a lot about the situation that we have in our country. Not only country, but few of the numbers are globally valid. If you could see that in India currently, it's estimated that we have around 350 million menstruating women in the country. And when we talk about globally situation, around 1.2 billion women, they lack access to menstrual hygiene management resources as well as awareness. 71% of girls in India, they are unaware about menstruation until and unless they hit the period for the first time, that we also call menarche. 60% of adolescent girls, they are missing their schools just due to the reality of getting into menstruation. That situation might not be that valid here in the urban setup, but when you go to the rural setup, you would feel it that there are no adolescent girls at all. I'm able to say that because I have worked very closely with two district administration in Jharkhand, and I have seen that you would see the imbalance. Only the boys will be visible everywhere in the upper primary schools, and you will not find girls. So this is one of the primary reasons. Although government has launched plethora of schemes for getting girls back to the schools, but this is one of the reasons why girls are missing from the schools. Forget about men. Forget about the myth men might have. I am talking about women. 70% of mothers whose daughters are menstruating, they also think that this is a dirty issue that cannot be talked publicly about. So now you all must be thinking about what is this new term called period property, because our GDP nowhere talks about this issue. So can anybody define what is period poverty without seeing this slide, if you have little idea about what this term is all about? True, right. And so basically, that, as you correctly said, this is basically difficulty in getting affordable access to the menstrual hygiene management products as well as awareness. And the reasons might be numerous. You might be economically very sound, but still you might be lacking in having period related resources. The reasons are the reasons have been classified into four terms. There might be economic unavailability, and there might be lack of awareness, and there might be poor hygiene standards. The fourth one is the most dangerous term, and that is valid everywhere from rural to urban setup, the societal silence. The moment you speak about menstruation, and being a man, if you speak about menstruation, there would be only two reactions. This man has gone mad, talking about menstruation, or else this man has become God. He's talking about menstruation. So where is the problem basically? The government is running plethora of schemes when we talk about menstrual hygiene management and the poverty, period poverty. But why still the situation is not changed? Situation has not changed hitherto. If you go to the rural setup, you would find the girls are still missing from the schools. The first and foremost reason is government or many organizations, VOs, NGOs, social organizations, they are mostly focused upon the resources. They are simply providing the sanitary napkin, but that cannot give us the ultimate solution. The second one is it's a very top-down approach. One size doesn't fit at all when we talk about MHM. Throughout my experience of working in this field since last 4 years, I have learned one thing very clearly. You cannot say that cup is very good for women. You cannot say sanitary napkin is very good for women. All of them have different choices and different experiences. So that is the basic problem. You could see whatever scheme you go through coming from government of India or any state government, you would see that they have chosen one simple product and then they think that this will work for everybody. But that doesn't happen. Awareness and information is focused solely on women. So let me tell you my personal experience. Till my graduation level, till the time of my graduation, I was just knowing there is one solution to only for a cramp coming out of period, that you have to just eat chocolates, dark chocolates. Now I understand how fool I was. So because nobody gave me any awareness about it. I never saw any chapter. Forget about chapter. There were no particular paragraphs dedicated to this issue. We have read about reproduction everywhere, right? But you would find this paragraph missing everywhere in all the curriculum. Talk about NCERT, talk about state board curriculum. Behavioral change communication has been missing from the curriculum and from the government's agendas everywhere. So now I have tried briefly jotting down the points which we followed there in the districts. These are the pictures coming from Simdega district of Jharkhand. And that district is at the border of Jharkhand and Odisha. And in terms of planning commission, that is one of the poorest districts of India, one of the backward districts of India. But still I am happy that Simdega was a torch bearer. When it comes to MHM, Simdega has set an example. So you could see the collectors, the men, women, everybody is taking a pledge that we will kill this period poverty from the districts. And how did that happen? That I will be discussing point wise. So the most interesting point of this campaign was that we engaged men with women. The information, whatever we were spreading, were not limited to only women. You could see that man is standing there and he is teaching boys about the menstrual hygiene management techniques. So we mixed up men and women. We created an army and we gave them the name of Dignity Army. So how did we create it? We had, in the first phase, we created set of master trainers, around 80, 100. There were set of 80 to 100 master trainers. Using them, we created an army of around 1,000 professionals. Those professionals were the teachers, the government school teachers, Anganwadi Sevikas, and ASA workers. So we were using all the existing framework of government, and using them, we reached to each and every panchayat of the districts, and that's how we created awareness about the MHM throughout the districts, in all the 450 villages of 93 panchayats, in all the schools, in all the Anganwadis, and in all the government offices of the district. So Simdega was the first district of India where any campaign was launched under which each and every village were covered. So what were the different unique points under this campaign? Because government has been launching some similar campaigns where the success was not that high. The first and foremost thing was, as I said, inclusiveness. We included men as well as women, and we segregated them. We didn't ask women to train only girls, and we didn't ask men to only ask only train boys. We mixed them up. We asked women to train men, and we asked men to train women. And it was a massive, it was not very selective. So when we talk about campaign, most of them end up with providing capacity building to limited set of professionals, and they are not reaching to the grassroots level of each and every I mean at a village level. And the third one was is what it was very economical. That's why it was feasible. And you know that government will always have lack of funding when we talk about something that is not tangible. When we talk about the tangible thing, let's say creating buildings, creating schools, creating playgrounds, those are tangible outcomes that can be shown, that can be bragged upon during the election times. But these things cannot be highlighted anywhere because here we do not get any tangible outcomes. And the innovative component in our campaign was that we launched a campaign called Man for Menstruation, under which we had provided this library in each and every government schools wherever we were reaching with our campaign. So this this tool book had a simple IC materials in the form of comics, in the form of toys, so that the girls in a rural setup, they are not exposed to mobile internet, they do not have any sources through which they can learn about MHM. That's why we provided this library in all the government schools, and we had given access to all the girls so that they can learn it whenever they want to, have answer to any query related to MHM. And the impact you could see, as I said, Simdega was first country in India which launched district-wide awareness campaign on MHM issue. Later on, we started producing sanitary napkin on the local scale because the one which we get conventionally in market is not that affordable. The poor cannot afford it. So we provided them training where they were learning about stitching it themselves using the cloth which they use in their day-to-day uses. And as you could see, as I said, that we had given them a name of Dignity Army. They also called it Garima Fauj, and this was that happened in Ranchi, that we provided these libraries, that we called it MHM Chachi because Chachi is a Hindi word for aunt. So in a household setup, we are more, I mean the girls are more frank with her aunt as compared to mother or father while they want to discuss certain issues. And so this got very wide acceptance. The NITI Aayog had endorsed this idea, and right now it's getting replicated in around 6 districts of Jharkhand and Bihar. So when we talk about period poverty, this matter has been kept ignored for a long period of time, but right now we could see that the revolution has already started. New Zealand has announced free access to sanitary products in all their government schools. Scotland has become first country which has assured free access to MHM products to all the menstruators of the country, not only in government schools. And you will be surprised to know that Bihar has a provision of menstruation leave, 2 or 3 days in a month, since last 13 years. These are the practices which we will be needing across the country if we are concerned about providing equal opportunities. This might be appearing very difficult, but let me tell you from my experience that this is possible, but not when we are just a blame thrower. We will be throwing the blames on government. Government is not doing in particular district or particular state. That's why it's not happening there. And if government is doing it in some other districts, then that's successful there. So we will have to make it as a citizens movement. The change will start happening when the people will be concerned and people will be focused in each and every household. And let's take an oath here that from today onwards, even in your home, try to talk about menstruation. Try to make your brother aware about the happenings that happens, psychological changes, physical changes, because the only source to know about menstruation for us is the menstruators who are available around us. So I hope we will make India poverty period poverty free country one day. Thank you very much.